The present work is a translation from English to Spanish of the poem The Raven by the American writer Edgar Allan Poe. This is a narrative poem that was published in January 1845 that starts with the common literary topic, the death of the beloved woman. This topic was taken like an inevitable event that must be accepted. Poe wrote The Raven while his wife, Virginia, was sick with tuberculosis. For this, the critics consider that Leonore's character is a representation of Virginia. This translation is aimed at the third group students of the Licenciatura en Enseñanza y Aprendizaje del Inglés en Educación Secundaria of the Escuela número 4 de Nezahualcóyotl. The purpose of this translation is to keep the unchanging core of the poem, as well as some aspects of its original structure, and make the analysis of the different process that we use during the translation. The first lexical semantic dilemma was found in the second verse of the first stanza, with the word quiet. This word, we consider that this work didn't add an important meaning of the poem. For this reason, we decide to omit it. In the same verse, the second lexical problem was found with the word volume, which was translated like voluminous. To keep the meaning was opted for a modulation of culture formed by a usual form, which results in the word libros. The third lexical problem was identified in the third verse of the first stanza, with the phrase nearly napping, which was translated like casi dormido. To keep the aesthetics, a transposition of verb to adjective was used, leaving the word somnoliento.
Within the first verse of the second stanza, another lexical grammatical dilemma was found, with the epithet bleak December, which translates as diciembre sombrío, but to maintain a closer meaning with the target language, an equivalence and a structural calque were used, giving as a solution the epithet frío diciembre. In the third verse of the second stanza, a rhetorical problem could be observed, with the sentence eagerly I wish the morrow, whose translation allowed the use of an alliteration, giving as a solution desee ansiosamente la mañana siguiente. In the fourth and fifth verse, we see a problem with the name Lenore. For maintain a closeness with the culture of the target audience, we choose the transcription as a solution, giving the name Leonor. In the sixth verse of the second stanza, a rhetorical dilemma was found, with the phrase nameless here forevermore. We choose to preserve the use of the metaphor that referred to the death of Leonor, and the result was aquí sin nombre eternamente. The book El Manual del Traductor by Juan Gabriel López Guix and Jacqueline Minette Wilkinson gave us the theoretical basis about the definition and uses of the different procedures of both literal and oblique translation, as a way to make comparisons between the original language and the target language, allowing its use to identify and solve the different problems that arise when making a translation. With the book La traducción de textos técnicos y científicos, inglés-español, by Laura Bruno, we were able to identify the different types of text, such as technical, scientific, and literary, as well as the different resources that can be used in their respective translations. In the case of literary text, the use of rhetorical figures such as metaphor, epithet, etc., and the use of words in different ways to maintain a style. On the other hand, the technical text that does not necessarily need to be a specialist on the subject, while scientific text requires prior research and specialized language. According to the paper Traducción literaria y escritura creativa, el traductor como escritor y el escritor como traductor, francés-español, we can say that thanks to the translation it is possible to share text from different languages around the world, since it allows the dissemination of culture and history that the writer embodies within his work, taking the translator as an accomplice in addition to considering him as a writer who embodies his vision and interpretation of the original works that he translates. We consider that this course helps us to learn about another important area of the use of English, the importance of translation, since previously we thought that the translating didn't have so much science or that translation was not a relevant job, but with the topics seen during the semester we realized that it is an art, because of the tools and the knowledge are needed to carry out a coherent translation, in addition to understand the original work and how the grammatical rules and stylistics vary between the languages, and how you can connect with the target audience and their culture.
The teaching fail is useful because it's allows to create new ways to know English, to know the English to students. Since each student has a different reality. Some of these books and translations, poems, can even be used as didactic resources or didactic materials to teach grammar or phonetic topics. And translation allows you to open different work field, not only about the education or the teaching. We have more opportunities that are hand by hand with the translation.